What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Infinite Gains again with another video on AMC and GME. So today's video is going to be on moving averages. We're not going to do anything crazy. We're just going to focus on pretty simple things that you've probably used before, but we're going to try to paint a picture for the possibilities of price action that is to come. So let's get straight into the video. So first off, let's begin. What is a moving average? I mean, most of y'all I think probably already know, but for people that don't, a moving average is simply a smoothing of price. As you can see, we have a bunch of zigzags all around like this, but this smoothing of price, as you can see, these lines are not very zigzag. They're very smooth. And how is that accomplished? Well, you take a segment of price history. Let's say that we take this segment here. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bars. So you have 6 bars in this segment. So how do we get our average? You take the closing price of each of these 6 bars, and then you add them all up and then divide that price by 6, and you have your average. And let's say, so you would have your point here. That would be your average. And then let's say we're on the weekly time frame. So let's say that we have a new week. And so the data actually will update. So you actually remove this last candle from the data set, and that would be your last candle of the data set. And then you add another candle. You add the new data. So the data is always evolving as time passes. You take in new price history into the data set and you remove old data, if that kind of makes sense. So that's actually a simple moving average. And you might ask, okay, well, how do we decide how many bars that we use in our data set? How many bars do we use to find the average? Well, actually, you get to choose that. So you can have any amount of bars that you want to find your average. Now, typically, people do use the 10, 50, 100, and 200 simple moving average, or SMA for short. Now, the two main kinds of moving averages are SMA, as I just explained, and you do have exponential moving averages, as you've probably heard of before. That's basically the same thing as a simple moving average, except that you put more weight on recent price history within your data set. Now, there's a whole kind of mathematical equation that you could use to kind of figure that out, but for the purpose of today's video, we're just going to be using SMAs, and I don't necessarily want to explain that in detail. So let's first just kind of basically just look at the chart, and what do we kind of notice? Well, we notice that kind of the most glaring thing that points out is this green line that kind of follows price history. And if we go back in time, we can kind of see that AMC was stuck beneath this. This is the 10 SMA. So using 10 candles to come up with your average. So it seems like AMC was trapped below this 10 SMA until in 2021 you had your short squeeze. And this is your 10 SMA. This is your 50 SMA. This is your 100 SMA, and this is your 200 SMA. And so the higher the amount of bars that you have in your data set, they're going to be much slower. As you can see, this purple one is the 200 SMA. It kind of lags behind price. It doesn't really react much. Now, what did price do in 2021? It shot through all of your SMAs, found support, and it kind of rode this 10 SMA up, and it kind of just surfed its way up this 10 SMA to the very peak. And then what happened whenever you broke down below your 200 SMA, you were back down in a downtrend. You came up and used it as resistance again. Then you started using your 10 and 50 EMAs as resistance, your final nail in the coffin. You get rejected, you gap below your 10 SMA, use it as resistance all the way down to the bottom that we found in April. And now recent price history, we came up, we tested the 50 EMA, we did get shot back down, but we did find support at our 10 SMA. And as you can see, in 2021 we actually rode the 10 SMA up all the way to the peak after breaking all of our SMAs. Now, if we correlate this to recent price history, well, we found support here. Now, if we move up and we break the 50 SMA, then you might shoot up to the 100 SMA at 29.93. Then if you break that SMA, you might shoot up to the 200 SMA, which is a very vital point in AMC's price history, which is sitting at 69.43, essentially $70. Now, if we have a repeat of 2021, you could actually come above and find support above your 200 and 100 SMAs and then make a new high. Now, in today's video, we're not really going over crazy price levels. We're just kind of trying to paint a picture of what's possible or what we're expecting to see, that we are finding support on our 10 SMA. We did get rejection at our 50, so this could be a next possible target for us coming very soon. Now that we have a bounce off our 10 SMA, you could target your next SMA, which is the 50 SMA, at $8. Now, this is on a weekly time frame. If we go down to the daily, this is AMC on the daily. You are kind of pinned between your 10 SMA and your 200 SMA, and this is on the daily time frame. So we are very coiled up here in between, and we can either make a decision to break above your 200 SMA at 557 or break below your 10 SMA at 519. So I think going into Monday, if you break your 200 SMA on the daily, then you have a very good chance of moving higher. Because if we go into AMC's price history, let me delete all these brushes. If we go back into AMC's price history, in 2021 we actually break through all of the EMAs and we ride the 50 EMA on the daily, and we actually never touch the 200 again. Once we break up out of the 200 SMA on the daily, we actually never touch it again until way further in price history, all the way in December. So if we break above our 200 SMA on the daily, that could signal that you have a short squeeze on the table. You have a very volatile move on the table in which you won't revisit these slower moving averages such as the 200 and the 100, that you won't visit them till much later in price history. So if we are able to break above 557 on the daily and maybe even use it as support, then I think that would be a very bullish thing for AMC. Now let's shoot over to GME, and this is GME on the weekly. As you can see, in 2021, GME was able to break above its 10 SMA, its 50 SMA, 100 SMA, and its 200 SMA. And as you can see, right before the squeeze, you did use your 200 SMA as support. So you did come down and use that 200 SMA as support, and then you were off to the races. Now we come to recent price history. Let's close that. We come to recent price history. We have broken our 10 SMA. We have broken our 10 SMA. We have broken our 50 SMA. We broke our 50 SMA here. You have broken your 100 SMA. You've also broken your 100 SMA. And now the final SMA to be broken is your 200 SMA, in which we are currently sitting at resistance at the weekly, ready to break to the upside. And as you can see, when we broke that 200 SMA and came back down and used it as support, we were off to the races. and we were also riding our 10 SMA to the upside. And as you can see in recent price history, you have broken your 10 SMA and you've come down and actually used it as support. So you're using your 10 SMA as support and you're about to break above your 200. So you tell me what kind of picture that paints. I think it paints a picture of a very volatile move, and it paints a picture of you being able to use these SMAs as support to the upside. Now, this is GME on a daily time frame using the SMAs, and we zoom in and we are seeing the 50 SMA and the 10 SMA used as support, and the 50 is actually about to cross over the 10 SMA if price continues to the upside, which is a bullish cross. And as you can see here, we did use the 10 SMA as support. We used the 200 SMA as support, and now we're riding the 10 and 50 SMA to the upside. And we zoom in into 2021, you actually saw the same exact thing. You broke through all of your SMAs, and then you actually never revisited your 100 or 200 SMA until much later in price history, and you basically used your 50 and 10 SMA to ride all the way to the top. And that's essentially what you're seeing in today's price history, is that you're not going to revisit your 200 or your or 100 SMA, but you're going to use your 10 and 50 on the daily time frame to ride to your peak. So these SMAs have not been broken, so I have no reason to be bearish it just yet. I'm actually very bullish. So that is GME. Now we do have another aspect, another tool that you can use, and they're actually called well, you can have SMA bands, but I just call them moving average bands, right? And you can use a combination of multiple moving averages to create kind of a band, and it's kind of like a smoothing effect, and it's kind of tracking the trend. So if you're in a bull trend, you're above your band. If you're in a bear trend, you're below the band. Now, what is this moving average band made out of? It is made out of the weekly 21 exponential moving average, and it is made out of the 20 weekly simple moving average. Now you can do various different combinations, but this one has been the best one that I've seen. So we are on the daily, and as you can see, we did come up and use this band as support. We did slip below it, but then we managed to find it as support, and as you can see, we just bounced off the band. Now that is GME on the daily time frame. Let's go to the weekly and check out the band. Boom, we are way above that band. And as you can see, in 2021, we actually rode the band all the way to the upside. So once you broke that band in 2021, you actually just rode it all the way to the upside, and we just broke it again with volume and volatility. And so I would expect us to be able to ride price all the way up. I would expect to be bullish until that band has been broken. I think that we are in a bull trend. Now, to finish off the video, maybe you're thinking to yourself, hey, that's kind of neat, but this could just be BS. Well, let's look at some other assets. So let's put the SMAs on Bitcoin. As you can see here, when Bitcoin actually broke through all of its SMAs and actually did this, it started riding them to the upside. And you actually never revisit your 200 SMA until recently, right? And now we're breaking below. And now you can see that we broke below our SMAs, and now Bitcoin is very bearish. And then you can move to the downside. But you can see how powerful breaking your 200 SMA and 100 SMA can be. Let's look at Amazon. Let's overlay our SMA, and you can see here what happened. We actually broke our 200 SMA, and you had a very strong bull trend, and then you started riding your SMAs to the upside. NVIDIA, same thing. Let's overlay our SMA. Boom, you broke your 200 SMA all the way down here, all the way at $16. At $16, you broke your 200 SMA, and we have never revisited it. We have never revisited that 200 SMA. So this is a very powerful tool. Let's even look at Volkswagen short squeeze. Let's overlay our SMA. Boom, SMA overlay, and you actually ride all of your SMAs to the upside, and you never go below your 200 SMA. So this is a very powerful tool, and you can use it in multiple different ways. And also the moving average band that I was telling you about. Let's remove the SMAs here, and then let's put the band that I was talking about. And let's go to the weekly chart. And as you can see, this is an extremely powerful tool. Once you break up out of the band, you start riding it to the upside. Boom, boom, and then once you enter the band and break down, you're actually in a bear trend. Now we can use this for multiple different stocks, but looking at GME and looking at AMC, I would say it's pretty clear that you're very, very bullish, and that you're using your SMAs and EMAs in a very, very bullish way. And it's pretty simple to understand. You can just look at it visually. And I hope that this video has been informative. I would encourage you to do more research on moving averages, simple moving averages, exponential moving averages. And there are actually more types of moving averages that you can use in your trading. So I'd encourage you to check that out. And that's going to be the whole video for today. Please remember to like and subscribe to the freaking channel. And I'll be back next week to update you guys on GME and AMC. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to join the Discord. It's going to be in the description. It's going to be in my bio. And I appreciate every single one of you guys. Thanks.